tonight on BBC One. At 7 o'clock, Tomorrow's World includes a look at the dangers of driving.
Barry, I've commandeered a vehicle.
The old trick, eh? Eat the telly before I get a chance to nick you.
It's a toaster?
Charlie, you have been defeated. Surrender. You have failed.
Insufficient data.
Nazi ain't got no humanity. They're the foot soldiers of a Jew-hating, mass-murdering maniac, and they need to be destroyed. That's why any and every sumbitch we find wearing a Nazi uniform, they're gonna die.
Is this world protected? But you're not the first lot to have come here. Oh, there have been so many. And what you've got to ask is, what happened to them? Hello. I'm the doctor.
Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. Good evening, good morning. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. I'm doing reasonably spiffy, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I am actually. I'm not sick for once. Bloody hell. I might cough a little bit. We'll find out. Who knows what day stream? So I'm a little bit tardy, because the winter nights are creeping in right now, which means I can do the after the evening service, evening song, right? Before I stream, which is good because I'm always knackered after I stream, right? And so, she cried. And so I like to try and do it before, but I had so much to get ready. I was like, and then I was replying to a guy on. Just got a message. I got to answer. My wife asked me which one do I. The message is which one do I like, and I have to look at the picture. I'll see what she says. Oh. Hang on. She's looking. What are these? Are these noodly pop things? I don't know. What ones do I like? Oh, oh, now you're really throwing me. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I have to reply. The green. Blue. My wife's here. I'll show you. My wife's just sent me a bunch of. She's at the store, right? And she knows I like a pot noodle of occasion. Look, I grew up with them, baby. What do you want at me? Right. I mean, you can't get the good one. The good one was that sweet and sour one, right? Oh, remember that from the 80s? That was freaking awesome, right? So she just sent me this, right? And I have to make a snap decision. I'll share the screen. Listen. Never ignore your family. Could always work out badly. Doink. Fine. So I'm going to go for. It's really weird actually because they changed the style of pot and made it more expensive, and I think put less in. Okay, what was it? Fine. So I got to reply. The green, blue, and yellow orange one, and if there's a purple mushroom, they're the best. Oh, I should don't get me any because I'm like trying to now all the Jewish holidays are over, right? I really want to try and like calm down on the what's the word I'm looking for on the grain products, right? They're not so great for me. Right. But there's been a lot of cake. There's been a lot of cake and cookies over the last few weeks. Let me tell you, especially over the past week, because although again, pain in the ass to eat them, I had to go outside to my little booth hut thing called a sukkah. Don't even ask. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't. I can't go into it again. Right? Come back next year. I'll tell you about all the weirdness of Sukkot then. Right? Oh, I'm supposed to be looking for that. But you're supposed to go in there. You're supposed to actually live in there, that booth thing, right? And so I was very careful to every day, like at least go out there, have something to eat, say a blessing, right? Say the after blessing. I actually would do my what's it called, study my study thing there, Duff Yomi. Oh, come on, here we go. I'm trying to get a sweetener out. Doink. Okay, tea made. I have to go for tea. Our coffee machine needs to be. Oh, I've got another question. Okay, so not a question. Just says I don't see purple. No worries. No worries then. Doink. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we actually have quite a surprising amount to get to tonight. Right, a Doctor Who that never was. The Ben Daniels Doctor Who that never was. That's interesting. I want to talk about Peacemaker. We've got to do a season review of that. And Tron Ares, which I watched last night, and I liked it. I tell you, I mean, if you like Tron, you'll probably like this, right? If you like the first Tron over the second one, you'll probably like this. Although I'm glad it's tanked. That means I'll be able to watch it on Disney Plus in a couple of weeks, right? That's a good thing. Another message from the store. What? What is ES? What? What is S? The orangey in this typo. Okay. Fine. Hopefully, I'll have no more questions from the corner shop, right? Because anything could happen. Anyway, I want to talk briefly, like on Tuesday, I did like a 45-minute segment on the end of the war. Big deal for me, mate. I don't know about you. Big fucking deal for me. Oh, what now? Hang on. Green is best. What's the blue again? Oh, now I've got to zoom in. She's asked me. I like Roto. I don't know. I don't know. Green is best. Followed by yellow and blue equally. Right. At some point, you'll realize I'm doing a live stream. All right. Doink. Okay. Hopefully, the pot noodle question is now over. Okay. Anyway, you see how life gets back to normal here in Israel. Fine. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit more. Really? Yes. And I'm doing a live stream. It's always better not to get pissed with people when they're doing. Can you hear it ding every time? Because every time it dings, I'll be like, okay, fine. Good, we're done. Yeah. Where were we? End of war. Big fucking deal for me, right? So there's a lot of negativity about it around the world in general. Firstly, I've noticed that TDS has got a lot worse this week, like a lot worse. People are like, it's absolutely bonkers. I think the better Trump does, the more painful it is, right? Coincidentally, after Charlie Kirk's murder, right, I decided to put Ian Levine on 30-day mute or whatever it was on Facebook. Because, look, Ian has really bad TDS, right? This really, really, really Trump derangement syndrome, if you know what I'm talking about. I really like Ian, right? I really, really do like Ian. I think I think he deserves a lot of credit, right? A lot of credit and a lot of love for the work he's done for fandom, right? I really do. I think we have a much more detailed picture of early Doctor Who because of him, right? And he's a passionate guy, and he's a fun guy, frankly, right? I like Ian Levine, right? I absolutely do. He's like force of nature. I mean, he's like very sick and old, and he's got cancers, and like He's gone through it, and he's still an incredible force of character, force of nature. Right, so I really like him. Anyway, so the 30-day pause went off, like just the other day, and oy vey, I feel so bad for him because he's so miserable. He is so convinced that the world's full of Nazis and Trump is a Nazi and it's a Nazi takeover. And he really genuinely is convinced of that. Right? And it's a bit weird because it's just a bit weird because it's detached from reality. I know, and I nearly contacted him today privately, but there's nothing you can do. I mean, that's really the hardest thing. There's really nothing you can do with somebody who has bad TDS because there's nothing you can say they'll listen to. It's genuinely a mental illness, right? I hope there's a cure for it at some point, right? But it's genuinely a mental illness. But I just feel, because again, I feel he's in a more senior part of his life, right? And he should be able to just sit back and relax and be happy. Right, and enjoy life. Right, I think he's earned that. I really genuinely do. And so I see his Facebook feed. He's just so miserable, right? Absolutely. So yeah, I put it on pause after Charlie Kirk because he was like with the Charlie Kirk's a Nazi narrative. I'm like, Ian, I love you, mate, but I can't go for that. That just makes my stomach crawl, right? And I think Charlie Kirk was probably better than we saw him when he was in public. I think in private he was probably a better person. He just struck me as one of those people. I had so much respect for him. Still do. I mean, it just seemed like a wonderful person to me. So that's why I had to put him on like a 30-day mute. And then it came out right after this. I'm like, and yeah, here's the thing: he's such a proud Jew, and he hasn't noticed all the people he's standing with like hate Jews. Right? They like all the anti-Trumpers, they hate Jews. Oh, with every fiber of their being. Right? The more you hate Trump, that's one of the reasons I got the Trump train. Because it seems to be he had a similar trajectory as as my nation. But yeah. So I was going to reach out to him and say, but there's nothing you can do. And it's really sad because you watch somebody who's like really suffering. And I really wish he wasn't suffering. Genuinely, I wish he wasn't suffering. But everything he believes isn't true. Right? And trying to explain that to someone. Actually, it's actually a little bit easier now. You can explain to somebody who doesn't have Trump derangement syndrome, right? How the media constantly lies about Israel and how there's a massive disinformation campaign, like all the Arabs, all the Palestinians, they make these fake videos, right, of Jewish atrocities, and they're very obviously fake. And then you Owen Jones or whatever, Mr. Trilby sees it, goes, "Oh, those evil Jews!" Right? They just believe it without question. So there's a lot of uneasy. There's not much trust right now for the peace plan in Israel. I have a lot of trust for it. I have a lot of hope for it. I have a lot of trust for it, and I really hope it goes off the way that they're saying it's going to go off, which is that we're going to see fast movement, right? In a lot, in a lot of things. But okay, the main reason, right, is because again, this was my daughter's position. I think she's very representative. So look, in 5 years we're going to be right back in the same place. They're just going to rearm and they're going to do the whole thing again. I don't think they're going to do that, right? I don't think they're going to do that. It's just like Archie Collins so about Tron Ares has been always universally bad. Archie Carter, I think you specifically will like it, right? I'm assuming you like the original Tron. I think you specifically would like it. Oh, yeah, sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, oops, wrong button. So the deal is that the Gaza has to be de-armed, right? Demilitarized, and Hamas has to de-arm, and really they have to leave, right? And it was like, oh, we've heard it before. We heard it in Lebanon. We heard it in Gaza before. We've heard it over and over and over again that, the president says this is going to happen, and it never does, right? And that's what people are. I think the difference now is Donald Trump, right? I think really a difference now is Donald Trump, and I'll show you exactly why, right? There we go. I really want to get to that. Because like when he says this, I kind of believe him.
And because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games. Okay? Now, we just...
I think that's the difference, right? I think when Trump says that, and it's so weird. I mean, honestly, the only political leader I've ever seen that vaguely keeps his word is Jeremy Corbyn, right? Who seems like vaguely like him. Unfortunately, he's pure evil, right? And a moron. But a bit of honesty is good. I think that's why I like it.
Something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first.
And again, I can't believe how people are downplaying that. This is a complete surrender for Hamas, right? It's their only leverage. And it's not like you got like the supreme leaders, whoever left of them in Qatar, in like billion-dollar mansions, and you got like low-level function, like sergeants, or like not corporals. That's about as high as it gets because everybody else is dead. Like everybody else is dead. Well, how it actually works is like in Gaza, there's lots of little family gangs, and then the gangs come together under different banners. That's all the. I'm sure you saw the executions. I'm not going to show them. They're just horrible. Seeing the disarm seems to be a long shot, but I think Trump's saying it, and I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to do something.
We had to do, above all else, get the hostages back. Now, they misrepresented because we were told they had 26, 24 of...
You're talking about the bodies, right? Which is a big deal, right? It's a very big deal.
Dead hostages, if we can use those terms. And it seems as though they don't have that because we're talking about a much lesser number. But that's a very tough subject. I want them back. That's what they said. I want them back. Also, they said they were going to disarm. And
I don't think Hamas have ever dealt with a leader who actually means what he says before. Right? I really don't. But the hostages are saying the minute Trump was elected, the way they treated them changed.
Initially speaking, they needed, they did take out a couple of gangs that were very bad. Very, very
They're all bad.
Bad gangs, and they did take them out. And they killed a number of gang members. And that didn't bother me much, to be honest with you. That's okay. It's a couple of very bad gangs. It's no different than other countries. Like Venezuela sent their gangs into us, and we took care of those gangs. We have Washington, D.C., is one of the safest cities in the country. It was one of the worst cities in the country.
And now, this is what I like. Like, it was one of the worst cities, a month ago, 2 months ago? And Trump is going to win. I think Trump is going to win so big in the midterms in November next year. I think he's going to do gangbusters, right? The Democrats are pinning everything on taking the House or the Senate so they can like impeach him over and over again and slug him up every way. I think Trump's going to go through them like a hot knife through butter. I think by the time people are voting, the tariff economy is really going to be paying off. And look, bottom line, again, this is because I'm crazy religious. I think Trump had the Jews back. Right? The Jews back. I think Trump had Israel's back. I think God's going to have Trump's back. Right? I really genuinely do. But I've been wrong about things like that so very often. Right? Let's be fair.
If you go back just a little while ago, right? Now it's safe. You can walk to work. Isn't it nice? But we have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently.
I don't think there's much perhaps in it.
But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Yes. You say
because
quickly.
Everyone says, oh, well, they won't disarm. They will disarm. And I spoke to Hamas, and I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm. That's what they told me. They will disarm, or we will disarm them. Got it?
And I think that makes the difference. That makes the first difference. And the second difference is that as I said in my last stream, that this is the first time in living memory that Israel not existing it isn't in living memory. So the first time Israel not existing is not in living memory. I think I think this Gaza war where they threw everything they fucking had at us, right? And they ended up walking home with their asses in a bag, right? They know Israel's not going anywhere, right? They didn't even come close to rattling us. I don't get me wrong, being at war was awful, right? Absolutely awful. I'm so glad it's over. You've no idea. I'm so glad. Your life is so different. I mean, like, I wish there was like some kind of switch I could flick so you could feel like what it's like to live in war, right? And then switch over and go, oh my God, there's so much better, right? So anyway, but yeah, generally speaking, this is I think Jews are trying, the Jews of Israel, while they are cynical, it's very hard to tell what joy. Right, it's very, very hard to say, no, I'm not going to be that happy or excited. Right, it just comes out naturally. So we just had this very joyous holiday, which is where the October 7th started. Right, and sometimes when you take out the Bible scrolls we read every Sabbath, right? You dance around with them, and it's the Jewish word is Labor-dick. It's very a Labor-dick. You like it be a bit Labor-dick? Well, I don't know. Especially not in England. Anyway, so here's some shots of that, and you see there is like real joy. This is much more joy than normal. I mean, it normally is, but this is more than normal. So this is an army. I think this is an army base in Gaza, right? And look, these are they just became de facto victory celebrations. Yeah, that thing is carrying is the Bible scroll. This is the second night we're allowed to play, electronic stuff and music. I guess the rest of them just nipped out for a fag. But again, I mean, these were the scenes pretty much throughout the country. So look, people's lips are saying one thing, right? Their bodies are saying something very, very different. Yeah, this is what Jews look like when dancing. I'm really hoping we get a bit of when we find the other 11 lost tribes, we have some, how can I put this? People with natural rhythm. They could really help us out, right? They could really help us out because we don't. I've got one more of these. Let's have the next one better. God help me. Let's try this one. Let's see what's on those flags. I think that's the Jewish temple that will be rebuilt, we believe. Unfortunately, it's on top of the Dome of the Rock. So again, look, the joy of the hostages coming out really can't be overplayed, right? And this thing really, really moved me. I thought this was lovely. So there's a band called Avenged Sevenfold, right? I've never heard of them. Two of the hostages were brothers. They didn't even know if each other was alive. Right, and they only found out on Sunday when they got out, and they joined up again. They're big fans of this band, and the band sent a video to them, a message to them, and I just think it's beautiful because you'll see it for yourself. So look, rather than me telling you what it is, why don't I just show you?
Eviatar and Guy, so excited to hear you guys are home today. We've been following the story closely. We knew you guys were
that's a hostage at the bottom. Like you're astounded.
Devoted A7X fans, and we appreciate it so much. The things you guys have been through are just unspeakable, terrible. Hopefully we see you guys soon. Be safe, spend time with your family, get some rest, and hopefully.
I mean, imagine being like kept in a Hamas tunnel, chained. Oh God, you don't even want to know what position they're in, right? And then you come out and like Peter Capaldi sends you a message. With mine, like it'd be fucking Joji and shooting. I was like, really, Joe, really, Joe? Yeah, thank you. Is Peter Blake there? No. Oh, okay, fine, thank you.
We can see you guys soon. Welcome home. Glad you guys are okay.
No.
See you soon. No.
That was his brother. What did he just say? Mr. Shadows is waiting for you. I guess that's the name of the... I have no idea.
שדוס מחכה לך. די. אולי גם סיניסטר גייטס.
די, נו. באמת? אתה חושב שהוא יראה אותי?
וואלה, כן. יש מצב שנרגיע לזה משהו.
Yeah, I think Romina will make it happen. And then and the first night, this is the second night out, or a third or something. The first night out, we'll see in a minute, they're rocking away to this band, whoever they are.
צריך לראות את זה לאוויר עכשיו.
והם פנו אליו מהצוות שהבן סבנפולד
The A7X Israel team reached out to him.
בארץ והשיגו ממנו הצהרה ככה.
For you and Ayada.
מה, אני בשוק.
אבל אופיר.
איך אתמול שמענו את השיר שלהם, זה גם...
Yeah, let's say listen to songs, it is just overwhelming.
זה היה הרבה יותר טוב מהשנתיים שדמיינתי את זה.
It was so much better than imagining it for 2 years. Last night you and Evitar listened to A7X and it was crazy. It felt like my soul had left my body. One play did.
Oh my god.
Yes, the night of their release. And again, I said this on Tuesday. That's why we fought, right? That's why we went to war. And it really is. It's so like there's so many things are different now. Like after every prayer service, there was a two verses of Psalms that we would read, right, for the safety of the hostages. And in my personal prayers, it was a big deal. It was like, I prayed for the soldiers, I prayed for the hostages. They should be given strength and get through. So they should come home. And now that's all gone. It's just like, what's life without all this stuff you have to do all the time? It's wonderful, right? It's absolutely wonderful. One last thing before I move on, which is just why I love this. Look, the Trump administration. The first thing they had me when they freed this guy called Rabashkin, who was he was stitched up, something chronic by anti-Semites. Essentially, he was this really, really sweet, innocent guy who ran the biggest kosher meat packing company in America. He was screwed over, something chronic, and Trump gave him a pardon. Right, so you had me from there, and then you had me at moving the embassy. But now it's just like I would take a bullet for it, right? After doing this for us, I feel like doing it for me, right? I would take a bullet for it without blinking. I really would. This is massive, right? Anyway, so they're revoking the visa, and again, Marco Rubio. It just gets more awesome by the minute, right? They're revoking the visas of anybody who openly mocked the death of Charlie Kirk, and good for them, right? Good for them. Here's Caroline Levitt. Talking about it, this spokesman for the White House.
Our country, if you are inciting violence, if you are siding with terrorists, we have revoked the visas of pro-Hamas individuals in our country who are...
And we love you for that, let me tell you.
...engaging in some of the campus shutdowns and locking down American universities. We are not going to tolerate illegal behavior. We're not going to allow you to side with assassins and terrorists. Having a visa to this country is a privilege. It is not a right. And if you are wishing death upon America, you won't be welcome here anymore.
Yeah, it just seems to be like the return of morality, which is a strange and good thing. Now, should we do the chat first, or should we do? Let's do the chat first, then we'll get to Tron. Right, Tron's definitely the place I want to start. Again, I was really surprised how much I liked it. I'm supposed to watch Madam Web for Dan's channel. I told Dan I can't do it, mate. I did look. I couldn't even with Sydney Sweeney giving me a hand job. I don't think I could walk. Actually, probably if she did give me a hand job, but it has to be while I'm watching the movie, right? Then I would consider it. Where's the? Is this the one? Oh, this must be. Yeah. Here's the thumbnail. Bit of Millie Gibson Tron action. Which Millie looks great in everything. It looks like there's not going to be a sequel, which is a shame because I look freaking smoking in. We should have taken and put the G on in this costume. Yes, Millie, you do. Right? Yes, you do. Doctor Who season 13, the good one from good season 13 from 1975-76, comes to Blu-ray. Yeah, we're going to do a preview of that tonight. Ben Daniels, that's an interesting little story. When Ben Daniels was nearly Doctor Who, but we got Jodie Whittaker and said, oy vey. And Tron Air is reviewed as also a Peacemaker, right? What do you think about that, Millie? Millie's very on board, I can tell. Yeah, Millie. Okay, so you just hang out there and you do that. I'll get to the chat. Okay, that's a good plan. Where are we up to? Darren M is here. Darren, thank you for joining us. Archer Collin is here. It's OT. Today is his last day as a 23-year-old, tomorrow 24. Well, happy birthday, sir. Yeah, again, I always forget how young you are because you're pretty mature together in the chat. I also saw the Divine Comedy last night live. My only criticism was they made a TDF song. Well, they all do. They're like, here's the thing: you got to separate the art from the artist. And again, I'm just hoping at some point, sanity will reassert itself. I think it might just take time, but I think it's going to. I think if the Democrats don't win the House or whatever it is in the midterms, that might do. Or maybe they'll just get more crazy. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they'll just get more crazy. Man, OJ, I'm so impressed with you, Smith, at being a together, rational, normal person, being raised in a world of absolute darkness and hell. I mean, fuck me, I can't imagine what it would be like. So, well, it's 2025 now. So 9 years ago, you were 15 when Trump came in. This is what I tell my kids who are older than you, some of them. I say, this isn't normal, right? Like the insanity you've lived with all your life, that's not normal. Right? But at least Trump don't pull up a star. But I love how you said it to that. That was wonderful. Again, I would love it forever just for that. It started. He don't know what's worth. Archie doesn't know what's worth. If Starmer is lying or he doesn't believe the crap he says, I don't think he believes it. I think he knows it's bullshit. I just think he's a moral black hole, right? A complete moral vacuum. Lonnie is here. Dear Lonnie, thank you for joining us. She knows I like a pot noodle now. Go to work. You talking the food or the euphemism? Just the food. I think I can find my favorite one. I'm sure they don't make anymore. What was it? Sweet and sour sauce pot noodle. See if I can find the old packaging for it. Oh, I liked it when it was pink. Like, it was bright pink. Oh, God. It was so bad for you. It was like 80% MSG. Hang on. 1980s pot. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, maybe it was blue. I don't know now. I just remember. Oh, is this it? No. It was kind of like this. It was kind of like this, but not. Hang on. I'll pull it up. Where is it? I'll go over here. Doink. That, although peri chicken flavor. I don't. Okay. There you go. It's pink. Okay, so it. What are we up to? Hey, people in the north are able to move back to their houses. That Gaza is. And look, there's a lot of places that haven't been destroyed, but like it's going to take 20 years. It's like London after the Blitz. It's going to take about 20 years. And cost billions, absolutely billions, right? And I do think those billions are going to come with some strings that they can't like just use it to build up again, right? I think Hamas finally realizes they're gone, they're done. This is a Tron without Tron. Well, you're making a very good point. Wait till I get to the review, okay? Catherine Thee is here, then. Catherine Thee, thank you for joining us. Matthew Pounder is here. How you doing, sir? As a Babylon 5 fan, I'm not sure I'll be happy to hear the shadows were waiting for me. He said he would be killed by a shadow. Man, Babylon 5 is actually, I'm wrong. I was just going to say Babylon 5 is a show that really needs an upgrade to special effects, but I'm absolutely wrong about that. You know why? Because the special effects, I mean, they can stand to be upgraded a little bit, but like the non-spec, like the studio work, it all looks cheap. Babylon 5 looks like 90s porn, right? It really does, without the sex. If you don't count Susan Ivanova's what's that, mating dance, that's one of the best bits of Babylon 5. Right, at one point, right? What's the name again? Susan Ivanova. They bring her out for love. What's the name of the actress? Claudia Christensen or something like that. She was a very hot stripper in another good sci-fi movie called The Hidden, right? When the alien parasite took over, and she was, and there was Carl McLachlan played another alien. Hey, I recommend The Hidden. That's quite a good 80s movie, right? But there's a bit where it was like the Drazi ambassador or something, and they're closing a deal, and they normally have sex at the end of the deal according to that planet. And so he says, well, let's do it Earth style. And she does a okay, fine. I'm going to look it up. See if I can find the clip. Here we go. We'll go Babylon 5, Susan Ivan over sex dance. Let's see if that comes up. Oh, hell! I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Is this the scene? It was like the first thing that came up. Get out of here. Yeah, I'll pull that up. It's going to be a while I whip this out. Okay, Millie, you stay there, darling. We'll be right back. Okay. I do like Babylon 5. I really should give the whole series a rewatch at some point. This was my favorite point in it, by the way. Actually, yeah, that's what I was going to say. In the, what's the mood of the country right now? Essentially the same as the end of Babylon 5 Season 3. Right after Sheridan, talking of Tron, jumped into the what's it called? The pit with the shadows. Where is it? But there's, oh yeah, here we go. Sex Human Style, now with subtitles. It just looks cheap. I'm sorry. It all looks cheap.
I thought it over, and I'm ready now. I set aside as much time as required to have sex as is done by your species. Since if we were to do it human style, it would probably be too much for you.
Are you implying that Lemati's sex is inferior?
Oh, no, not at all.
By the way, I was always like that the, what was it? Not the Vorlons. not the Minbari, the Centauri. I always liked they had like several penises, which weirdly they used to cheat in cards somehow.
Not as such. I mean, it just wouldn't be fair to ask you to do it our way on such short notice. You know, the pressure to perform.
Enough. To conclude our deal, we will have sex human style.
You sure? You do know what this entails.
Of course. Ignorance is an inferior trait.
That's what I thought.
Which kind of reminds me, another thing, Adam's Family Values, where he marries, what's his name? Cusack. What's their first name? Can't remember. Right. He says that they're at their wedding night and they never had sex before. And he says, so you never had sex before? Says, no. I said, well, how do you know we're not doing it right now? Joan Cusack.
You ready?
Yes.
Good. Oh. Boom shabba lubba lubba, boom shabba lubba lubba. Hey there, 3 bags full. You come here often? Yes, I do. Dinner shabba lubba lubba, drink shabba lubba lubba, kiss, 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 grab!
Yes, I think one of the greatest things of all time. Thank you, Billy. I know you like it, darling. Okay, here we are. Or let's just say the shadows waiting for me. Thank God nobody mentioned Cliff Richard. Tzvi Lebetkin, in the book of Starship Troopers, one of the moral philosophy questions the teacher asked regarding going to war over unreleased POWs. That's an interesting thing. We need ice in the UK, says Matthew Powder. Yes, you do. And the first person to eject is the Keir Starmer. Achigona mentions the guy from Oxford who's been I think has been arrested. Right? No, he has been arrested. Put the Zayas in the ground. Yeah, a little fuckface. Come and try and say it's a bunch of Zayas and see how far you get. Rabbi, you make me feel it also much more personal for us. Thank you. I don't know any Jews in real life. Well, you know, other than the Horns were just like everybody else. I shouldn't have said that. Oh, dear TGS, but he changed. Okay, look, again, you're young. Right. For you to have it is completely understandable. That you came out of it, though, honestly, dude, that's real moral fiber, right? That's real moral backbone. Don't play that lightly. It's not that common, right? It really isn't. Here's the thing. It took me to I was about 50 before I realized that my strongest traits weren't common, right? And I could actually monetize them. Next time my way. Yeah, there you go. Oh, but Ivana has got. Yes, I remember that line as well. I want to say that out of all the chat that I've been in, this has been a bit. Well, that's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Right, I can obviously take no credit for it because I'm really not there. Is there something you want to say to me, Commander? I don't know. Nah, I'll have a bit of Babylon 5. Anyway, let's talk about a bit of Tron. Right, let me pull this up. Share screen. So, I watched it last night. I'm really glad it's flopping, so I'll be able to watch it on Disney Plus for free, because this is definitely worth a rewatch. Now, before we get into the review, the fundamental problem with Tron is that it was made in the early 80s and was very, very simplistic. Do you remember Tron of the Time Lord? Right? If you're not a Doctor Who fan, I'm going to clip this out later. But you remember Tron of the Time Lord was a mid-80s Doctor Who, right? And at the end of Tron of the Time Lord, when the villain was revealed, his evil plan was to have a megabyte modem. A megabyte modem. Only you could be so evil, right? And it's a word that the writers, Pip and Jane Baker, heard, had no idea what it was. It was a modem. I'm not even sure people know what it is anymore. It's the thing that you connect with the internet with, right? But it was back then. The modems were it was shaped so you a phone receiver will go like plug into it, and you go that's what they did. It was very slow, right? It was very, very slow. So imagine now, 30 years later, basing a whole other thing on a megabyte modem. It'll be like, well, that's a bit silly. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Same thing with Tron. The basic premise of it is like detached from, well, obviously detached from reality, but like detached from what we all know to be reality, like colloquial reality, in that we know a laser beam can't fire at you and then zap you pixel by pixel into a cyberspace world. I don't think there was a word for cyberspace at the time. Maybe it was. When did William Gibson write Necromancer? It's all around the same time, I think. I think that's when cyberspace was first really invented, right? And then you can't use that same laser to somehow rebuild you pixel by pixel. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it looked cool and it was fun. You got Jeff Bridges going into like a virtual computer universe, and it was just fun, right? And then he met Bruce Boxleiter in there, and it was all pretty good. Then what was it, about 28 years later they made a sequel, and obviously it didn't do that well because it's now what, 15 years later they just made another. Right, but the sequel was Tron, what's it called, Legacy, was really mostly about showing how technology has moved on and reimagining what the computer world of Tron would look like in a modern day context. And I think it did that quite well. Right, so this one kind of just completely sidesteps that second movie. Right there, I mean, it's good if you watch the original Tron before you watch this. But it does somewhat sidestep that movie. I'm not even sure the characters in it can even get a name check. I think Jeff Bridges' son does. But I think it's literally just like a blink and you miss it name check, right? So this is all new characters, and honestly, you could go from the first movie to this movie seamlessly with no problem whatsoever. And I would say, tonally, this is much closer to the first movie, the 1980s movie, in that it's a bit goofy and silly, but it's a lot of fun, right? It's a lot of fun, which I found a lot of fun. Thought Jared Leto was good casting for this for once. For once, about having a weird detached, a space cadet worked. It was a good idea. So his performance. So it starts off, and it's the grandson, I believe, of who is it? Of David Warner, right? Who was the bad guy in the original Tron, right? So the grandson of David Warner, and his mother is inexplicably Gillian Anderson, right? And again, I remember Cillian Murphy was in the second one playing his son or something like that, and he was American. But now these Gillian Anderson, I think, is supposed to be English, and the guy's American. I'm not really sure. But okay, so it starts off, he's having a meeting with a like military, and he shows you all the stuff we see in the trailer that they can like generate. They can use their special laser thing to build stuff from the virtual world in the real world, and they have a lot of like cute stuff with that. Like when anything gets built, it's got those the little bits that everything, when you 3D print something, you've got to cut off all the little extra little bits, like when you build a model, it's got that little webbing stuff, you got to click stuff off, so that everything comes out like with all that little stuff on it, and it's got to shake it off, which I thought was quite good. And so it was like very impressed. And the most impressive thing is they have this security program called Errors, right? Who's basically this a super soldier, and they bring him out, and they're like, and if he gets killed, we just remake him over and over and over again, right? So then the point of the movie, minor spoilers, right? And it doesn't really matter because it's so silly, right? It's so silly, but it's okay. Is that they only can last for, I think, 9 minutes. before they just kind of like completely collapse, and then they wake up in the computer world. So at the same time, we have this Asian woman. Here we go. We'll look at the character posters. Who was somewhat nondescript, and I can't really remember her name. She's somehow connected to Jeff Bridges' character somehow. I have no idea how, but she also kind of like generates it. Be able to generate stuff from cyberspace into reality is a thing, but she can also do it with Flynn was named the character. With that company's technology. So you got what's it called again? I can't remember. Dillinger is the David Warner company, and Flynn is the Dillinger's the bad guy. Flynn is a good guy, right? And she finds they're looking for the permanence code, this line of code that can make things made from the virtual world stay more than 9 minutes, stay forever. So that's basically the plot of the movie. You have her looking for it, and you have Dillinger looking for it, and he utilizes Tron Ares, I should say, his cybersecurity thing, that person, Jared Leto, essentially, to get in the chase to get this. Rabbit's foot, this MacGuffin. Now, she's not particularly great. I mean, like, I found the guy who played his son in the last movie to be more relatable and better. She's not bad, but there's no charisma coming off her whatsoever, right? Much more when there is charisma coming off her is this woman. Her name's not Athena, it's something like Athena, or it might actually be Athena, right? So she's the first lieutenant to, like, the second in command to Tron Ares. I keep saying Tron Ares, it's to Ares, right? Who is, like, again, this super powerful guy, but he's very subservient to Dillinger, the bad guy. This bloke, right? Very, very subservient to him. And doesn't really know much about the world. And during the course of the movie, he gets to see more and more about reality and who he's working for and what he's doing, until it's coming, but he's going to be forging his own path, and he ends up on the side of, again, spoiler warning, but it's not. And you can't see this coming from the opening frame, really. I mean, it's a kids' movie. That's the thing. Tron is a kids' movie, which is fine. He joins up with the good guys trying to get this code. So at one point in the movie, for an extended period, actually, they go to this old server, right? So he can enter in there and try and find this fabled bit of code. And when he goes in there, it's the 1980s Tron world, right? It's very loving to that original 1980s movie, where I think the second one wasn't at all. Right? It genuinely cares about it. But I found all that stuff absolutely delightful. Jeff Bridges has a cameo. About 3-4 scenes there. Right? And again, it's as complex as the original one, which wasn't that complex at all. No mention of Tron whatsoever, or Bruce Boxleitner, which I think was a problem. I mean, like, at least he showed up digitally de-aged or something in the second one, right? I mean, I think he should have been like some kind of memory or something. They should have been in there some way. Maybe he's just retired. He's like, I'm not interested. I don't know. He's just like, I'm not getting that spandex again. That's for sure. But honestly, again, if you like the original Tron, I think this is as loving a sequel as one could possibly hope for. Quite frank. I'll tell you how loving it is of the original. Do you remember the 1990s Lost in Space with William Hurt and who else was in that? Oh, what's the name from Friends? Whatever his name is, right? But that really loved Lost in Space, right? I absolutely adored Lost in Space, and it was a very good representation of it and modernization of it. Bill Murray should have taken the role as old Will Smith. But other than that, generally speaking, quite good. So, is this any good? It's been panned by everybody. I don't see why. Again, it says it's building on very, very weak ground in that it's all about people getting zapped by lasers and sucked into a virtual environment, right? And so zapped back by lasers. It makes no sense whatsoever. But okay, this is how good it is. If you want to rate it, do you remember there was a rock movie that came out a year or so ago at Christmas? Let me pull it up 1 second. The Rock Christmas movie. What was that movie called? Not Jingle All the Way. It was 2024. Red One, right? And it was essentially, he was a head of security at Santa's grotto. And Santa gets kidnapped. It's like an action movie, but it's silly because it's like Christmassy, right? Archie Collins says, one of the things I heard is that the male company head is pretty much the same character as the one from Alien. No. Was it Boy Cavalier in Alien Earth was, I would say, a well-rounded, completely bonkers, narcissistic character. This is just kind of like stock villain. He really is. He's pretty much the same as David Warner, right? Apparently, they never even approached Bruce Boxleitner. Well, I think that was probably a mistake, right? Apparently, the rides are very popular. Oh, I bet they are, right? Tron Uprising was a good show, a decent show. I'm actually going to watch that now because of this movie. Anyway, so they had this movie, Red One, came out. It was like last year at Christmas. It came out in the cinemas and died to death. Nobody was interested. No one was going to pay money to see that. Then Amazon put it on their streaming service for free, and it did gangbusters, right? The expectations for a movie that you go and see in the cinema are vastly different from a movie that you watch on streaming. So this is way better than that movie. This is way better than Red One, right? I wouldn't feel gypped if I went to the cinema to see it, right? So basically, Red Bull's hard like drive. Is it hard? No, because they weirdly they're physically real, and they just like collapse, right? I don't know. So it's not like that, but it don't look for it to make any sense because it really genuinely doesn't. So yeah, it was way better than Red One. I wouldn't feel gypped if I saw it at the cinema, but like this is really, if you watch this on streaming, if this movie came out on streaming and it was advertising, you saw it, you go, wow, that did a really good job, right? I don't get the hate for it, right? I wanted to listen to Nerdrotic's review after I listened to it, after I watched it. Thing with Nerdrotic is he just. I think he's look. I am never going to intimate he's dishonest because I love Gary. I think Gary's great, right? I think I'm very happy for his success. I think it was very well earned. I was on board the Nerdrotic train when he was a small channel. I mean, bigger than mine. But he had like 10, 15,000 subs when I first came on. Now he's got like over 1 million. And like, good for him, right? The content he produces is great. I liked it when it was just him in the old days, right? Now he always has other people on. Well, whatever. But like his, ISP, I think is the word we're looking for. His thing is to bitch and moan about current day media, right? I think that's why he's on the Piers Morgan and Critical Drinker, the same thing. That's the, and so again, I'm not saying he's being dishonest or disingenuous. I'm saying that the heart is the captain of the ship, right? And if it's financially deeply beneficial for you not to like something, you'll probably look on the dark side of it, right? You won't be that nice. I think Carrie was hurt in his special place with the Rings of Power and New Who. I'm not sure how he was hurt. Okay, Rings of Power was freaking awful. I mean, see, I don't mind bitching about stuff that's shit, right? But bitching about stuff I thought it wasn't woke in the slightest that I could see, and I'm quite sensitive of that. I found it mostly harmless. That's the way I would describe it. Mostly harmless. Totally worth a watch. Right? If you like Tron, it's totally worth a watch. It's not visually the same as the second one. The second one was much more dour and cool, right? It was like 2010. It was the second one had a very like Apple feel to it, right? When Apple was cool, right? This one is much more colorful, and I think more. What's the word I'm looking for? Tonally in tune with the first movie. And honestly, all the good bits you've seen in the trailers, which is like the computer stuff coming into the real world, like the light cycles, cutting up the police car. You saw that in the trailer. All that's really cool, right? That stuff really, really genuinely works. And I found that there's good set pieces, good action. Jared Leto's a little, isn't like the most compelling star. The whatever her name is, the female lead, or the lead, I should say, is I found it reasonably dull. Like I found her not that compelling. I think the story was written well. Gillian Anderson was wasted. I have no idea how they got her on board for that role, which is, Gillian Anderson is a great actress, like a really genuinely great actress. I mean, when I say wasted, she, I'm assuming they paid her. She had a decent payday from it, right? And the Rent-A-Villain was okay. I mean, there's a very nice bit at the end. Again, no spoilers, where they're desperately trying to set it up for sequels, and they and you do get a quick look at the 1982 computer world version of David Warner's suit, which was a nice little throwback. I love all the bit in the 1980s Tron world. I thought that was really genuinely fun, right? So look, for me, I thought it was a success, right? But I'm literally the only person. That kept, well, that wasn't bad, right? So I don't know. I would recommend seeing it, right? I wouldn't recommend paying to see it. Oh, the soundtrack by Nine Inch Nails, freaking fantastic. Much like the soundtrack for the last one, which was also fantastic. Who did the last one? Daft Punk, right? I believe the soundtrack for the first one was also fantastic. See, that really carries the first hour of the movie very well. The action set pieces with the incredible music. It's a really good soundtrack. So I don't know. I don't get the hate, right? I don't get the hate for the James Gunn universe either. Man, I hope that's not about to be canned, right? Speaking of which, let's move on over to that. Yeah, I do not get the hate for the James Gunn universe. Peacemaker season 2 just finished. I thought season 1 was stronger in most ways, right? I thought it was more cohesive and came together better. This felt very, very much like it was suffering under the weight of the James Gunn being the DC head honcho. Right? Now, having said that, was it bad? No. Okay, I found this a perfectly enjoyable watch. So the should we cut to the chase or not while people are mad at it? I'm not sure. So it starts off Peacemaker is he's doing peacemakery things. Everyone's lives are somewhat shattered and destroyed from the events of the first season. If you recall, there's a interdimensional like doorway in his dad's place. He's now living in his dad's place because his dad's dead, which he killed right in the first season. So there's an interdimensional doorway in there where he has all his like Peacemaker stuff, so I always assumed this was something made by his dad, played by what's his name from Terminator 2. Robert Patrick? Yeah, Robert Patrick, who's good in everything. I really like, he's really genuinely good in everything. So it's raining outside. So basically it starts off, it's raining outside, and it's Eagly, who's I think one of the best characters. I freaking love Eagly. wanted to go flying and he didn't want to get up to let him out. So he just let him go and fly around in this like interdimensional zone. And they end up finding another door that looks like identical with a lot of other Peacemaker helmets out. This interdimensional zone, there's like hundreds of doors there. Some you can open, some you can't. But like 20-minute walk away, there's more Peacemaker helmets and another door that looks like identical. So a lot of the makeup of the character is that he had an awful father who hated him, and he made him and his brother fight when they're kids, and he ended up killing his brother. Right, that is like it's like hung heavily on him for the rest of his life. Right, so he goes through the store and he just to check it out. He's kind of drunk, and he sees his brother is there alive, right, and his father, and it's like everything is better, right? Just everything is better in this alternate world. Like literally, like everybody loves him. He's rich. He's successful. He's a good superhero. He's got his brother. He's got his father. They all work together as superheroes. It's fantastic, right? So it's only going to be a short amount of time before he goes and tries to live there. At the same time, you got a bunch of subplots. Oh, by the way, I think one of the coolest things about season 2 was that season 1 ended with a cameo from the Justice League, specifically Jason Momoa, right? Which makes it not in the current DC universe. So when they recapped it previously on Peacemaker, at the beginning, they reshot it so it had was it Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, right, and the Justice Gang in it, which I thought was really kind of cool, right? Was Peacemaker 2 actually shit? No, it was. I found it a very enjoyable watch. I would probably go back and rewatch it at some point, right? Again, wasn't as good as the first season. I think John Cena is great. All the actors are great, right? All the characters are great. You have a bit of a subplot with the Harkle, the blonde, sexy woman on the was it on the right? Your left, my right, I don't know. Where she's because of the events of last season, she's lost the job as a spy, and she goes around like starting fights and getting beaten up everywhere. Played by Jennifer Garner, and she looks freaking gorgeous. I mean, and she's also James Gunn's wife, right? And it's at the time when she had a big like girl fight go on, it was awesome. And I just, what's this thing I saw? Right, I just tried to watch what's the Marvel universe? Thunderbolts, right? Just trying to watch Thunderbolts. So open up with like a kick-ass, female fighting thing with Black Widow, and it didn't work at all. Why? Because Florence Pugh isn't Scarlett Johansson. If you want to have kick-ass women in fights and it to be cool, they've got to be very, very sexy, right? They've got to be super hot, right? With Florence Pugh, she's not unattractive, but she looks like your girlfriend or your wife. Like, she looks normal. She looks ordinary. So that fight scene, it just totally failed, right? But when Jennifer Holland did it over here, because she's super hot, right? It totally worked, and the choreography was all very good. I found that, somewhat engaging. You have what's up? They had a company. You had Rick Flag Sr. in it, played by Frank Grillo, who I think played Skullbones or whatever in the Marvel universe. Now in the movie, I would, if you've ever seen this, I would recommend going to watch the Suicide Squad, which I thought was great. Peacemaker season 1, then Peacemaker season 2. I would recommend the whole thing. He ends up killing in Suicide Squad. He kills Rick Flag Jr. And so Rick Flag Sr. absolutely hates him. But actually, if you want to watch everything, throw in Creature Commandos as well, which I think is seamlessly fits into all of this. It introduces Rick Flag, and also there was who was it from Saturday Night Live? Hey, let me see if I can. I'll do a search. It's Peacemaker season 2. It was a new character that were definitely the most enjoyable. Let me see if I can find a cast list. List of episodes. Okay, well, recurring characters. Who am I looking for? No, not him. Not here. Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows plays an Argus agent who's bonkers, right? There's a lot of funny stuff here. Like, he talks about having bird blindness, so you can't tell if Eagly is a owl or an eagle. You have Michael Rooker again, right? Michael Rooker showing up again as a different character who's sent to hunt Eagly. And again, that's what I found to have the most dramatic tension when Eagly was in trouble, right? You have Vigilante, who is somewhat more psychopathic. You get into him a little bit more in this season. I can't remember what the black woman's name is, right? But she was, again, not a huge amount happens. Anyway, so he's found this idyllic alternate universe, right? Where everything's great. He's got the Peacemaker cycle. And people love him wherever he goes, right? So it turns out, and again, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, but this is why people are pissed off. It turns out he's on Earth X, which is the Yahtzee America one, right? And they actually did it way better than they did. What's that one on Doctor Who? Dot and Bubble. Dot and Bubble, you could tell straight away there was nobody who wasn't white, right? It was so heavy-handed. I didn't notice in this at all, right? There's an interesting subplot with the alternate Jennifer Holland character. And Peacemaker's somewhat in love with Jennifer Holland's character, and the Jennifer Holland character in the alternate universe digs him too. So he loves the other universe, but the big reveal towards not the last episode, it was like 1 or 2 episodes ago, they're on Earth X, which is a Nazi America alternate world, right? And he did know there's a whole mural of like Hitler and stuff there, which again I thought was kind of funny. But I think what pissed people off, and I think this is bad luck and bad timing rather than being somewhat disingenuous, was showing it was a Christian racist world, right? And I think Christians, especially in the wake of the death of Charlie Kirk, are sick and deaf of being called racist when they're absolutely not, right? However, that being said, there was in the 70s and the 80s a weird conglomeration of Christian Nazis in America, right? That's what it was a really weird thing, but that was a thing. I remember it, right? It was a genuine, real thing. So, and I'm not trying to denigrate Christians, but I don't think James Gunn was either. Or maybe he was a little. I don't think. But I think using, not inventing a new thing, but making Earth X, somewhat made it legitimate, right? Somewhat made it more legitimate and not just like a woke swipe. But people are very, very sensitive about wokeness, which is the and if they think it's woke, forget it. I just don't think it was woke. I mean, I think James Gunn is in Hollywood, and obviously he has very woke politics. I saw no wokeness in Creature Commandos, on Peacemaker season 1, Superman. I just enjoyed it. Frankly, I found it very enjoyable entertainment. So there is a story going around that now Warner Brothers is being sold, I think, to J.J. Abrams' company. That James Gunn is going to be out if that goes through. I'm just saying, I think that was a mind-bogglingly stupid idea, right? I honestly, I think the Zack Snyderverse would have worked had he been left alone to actually do it, right? The Zack Snyderverse, its biggest failing was that it wasn't until it got to Justice League where you saw what the vision really was and where it's going, right? And then everything kind of fit together. But you never got that movie, right? For them to DC to abandon ship at this point on the James Gunn verse, it is a really stupid idea. I say Supergirl is like in the can, and I think that's probably going to be a good movie. But here's the thing: there's just so much hate for James Gunn and his Superman. All right, and I know he probably doesn't share my politics, but I don't feel like he's constantly rubbing in my face with his TV. I really don't, right? And same way I didn't feel like Barry Letts or Malcolm Hughes was rubbing their politics in my face, right? When they did it in Doctor Who. I think it was primarily a story, a good story, a story about character, right? And a story about good characters interacting in a believable three-dimensional way. For me, that makes it not woke, right? It didn't feel like it was lecturing me at all, right? So good for that. Speaking of which, this is let me gotta find the link. Hang on, this is really funny. Hang on, I bookmarked this over here somewhere. Oh man, I just thought they're going to bring in digital IDs so you can buy for you to be able to buy alcohol. Fuck me, I can't imagine this government getting any less popular. Like I just how are they so stupid? It's absolutely beyond me, right? Genuinely beyond me. All right, but BBC had a bit of a terrifying shock this week. There you go. BBC had a bit of a terrifying shock this week where they put out a survey to find out how people thought they were doing. Have you noticed nobody watches your shit anymore? Isn't that a bit of a giveaway? No, you can't pull it together from that? No, I guess not. Well, okay then. So they put together this survey, right? And it is hilarious and fascinating. BBC gets shocking feedback from the British public in a nationwide survey. The BBC conducted a nationwide survey of its own viewers, and people are not happy with the broadcast. The feedback says, need to be less diverse. I mean, what? Somehow represent the people who you're trying to entertain, right? I mean, it's amazing. The country just, the establishment of the country just realized the country's, England is 75% white working class. Right? They're like, oh my God, I had no idea. And so when Labour puts out all the starts waving all their flags, the British flag, it's not you're not fooling everyone. 40% said it was failing to be independent of the Labour government. Yeah, well, you mean what? Because they relentlessly cheer for it. More issues raised on political correctness. Yeah, look, BBC, I wish you would understand. No one's interested in your bullshit. Like genuinely, no one is interested in your bullshit, right? Yeah. What? They were talking about this on Talk TV today with Julie Hartley Brewer. Now imagine if the whole country, including people who have stopped paying for it, it's not fit for purpose, right? More raised issues on political correctness. So see what they talk about. Dr. Alex is how you doing, Doctor? As is David Millings. How you doing, David Millings?
Really interesting about this is this.
David Millings, I just made you plural. There's many of you now. No, David Millings, how you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us.
I think the thing that's really interesting about this is this is actually a self-selecting poll from the BBC. So this isn't how you would normally have a poll done, which is randomized across the country and sort of correctly rejigged so that it's representative. This is people who are actually watching the BBC.
I mean, like, this should be your best result possible, right? And it crashed and burned.
People still do that.
Yeah. Exactly. And there's actually quite a huge amount of people that they managed to get to fill out this survey, but these are fans of the BBC. And these people still have yet said, we've had enough of this diversity quota that you're doing. Just stop lecturing us, you know.
I mean, is the diversity quota like 90%? I don't know whether, because I stopped reading American comics, the current comics, because they're woke shit, essentially. But it got to a point where it was 100% lesbian, right? I think it was DC Universe was 100%. There were only lesbians there.
And that's obviously what we hear from our supporters all the time, and that's why people are switching off from the BBC. But it's really interesting that it's come through in this poll for the.
Well, exactly, and it's not just in the programme. I mean, it is that sort of like, well, there has to be, it doesn't matter if it's a historic drama and everyone would have been white. No, we're going to pretend that one of them was black. There's going to be someone disabled. There's someone.
Yeah, but they're not going to be pro put a Jew in, especially not a Zionist.
Else with some other disabilities, it has to be someone who's trans. You're sort of having this constant
drag queens and fucking everything all the fucking time. I had no problem with drag queens until they became omnipresent all the time, right? Archer Collins says, going back to Peacemaker, I was never interested in Peacemaker, really. Well, I like a James Gunn thing. I kind of like... It's a James Gunn thing, slightly dirtier than normal. But from what I hear, everyone worked out what the twist was regarding the better one. I didn't, okay? I really didn't. P.D. Richards here. How you doing, P.D.? No, not on the religious side. They're all done. Oh, thank God. They're all done. I mean, yeah, we'll be coming back. Yeah, PD, I'm going to make an appeal in a couple of weeks to any religious people out there that if you're a praying kind of person, PD is going through a medical procedure. And look, the stats are, if people pray for you, you generally speaking do better, right? So I would really, and again, if any of you in the audience are ever sick, having a hospital, let us know. You might say hope, was it hopes and prayers? No, thoughts and prayers do nothing. Again, I don't think that's the case, but let us know, because there are Christians and Jews listening there. They'll that will happily pray for you. I will happily pray for you, right? But anyway, I'm going to remind everybody nearer the time.
Across every programming, the politicization.
Yes, I've noticed it in Doctor Who. No more readily than this. So this is an interesting little tidbit. Mark Miller reveals that a huge name was offered to showrun Doctor Who and cast Ben Daniels in the role. Well, I'm not sure if I believe this, I'll be frank, because this goes very counter to the BBC, mentality right now. Wonder who the big name was. I'm going to say Jed McCurry will be my guess. Yeah, I think that's something the BBC would like to run Doctor Who. So 2018 was arguably the year Doctor Who died, but not arguably, absolutely true. As Jodie Whittaker was cast in the role, turning the Time Lord, who had been now into a woman, to virtual signal to a modern audience the BBC wanted to attain and don't exist, right? Yeah. Well, this changed, of course, the Doctor Who to drop in ratings drastically over the next few years, fans lamenting what might have been after Netflix creator Mark Miller floated that Ben Daniels might have been up for the role at the time. Yeah, Mark Miller I find very, very bizarre because, Netflix, we got him under contract and he's written like so many great TV pilots, right, in the form of comic books. Like so many great ones. Nothing they do of his stuff works out well. I don't know. I don't think he'll be a I don't know, like he doesn't have a good track record on TV. Fans often view Chris Chibnall's time on the showrunner as some of the worst in the history until Russell James came back. Not only did he replace the Time Lord with a woman to push into identity politics, that is true, but also stories like the Timeless Child wrecked the continuity show irreparably. That is also true, right? Jodie Whittaker's female Doctor era boasted the lowest ratings of all time. That is until Rusty Davis came back to flood the series with more left-wing politics and a gay black Doctor. Now, I'm going to say, I don't think calling him a gay black Doctor is fair. You should have called him a super gay black Doctor. It wasn't that he was like Simon Callow as a Doctor would be fine. Judy Gatwa, the only thing he is gay and black. Right, that's literally it. I've seen him do nothing other than that. Hey, I'm going to play Shakespeare. How are you going to do it? Gay and black. Oh, well, there you go. How do you think of that? Well, I don't know. Prudent enough to take the show off air into an indefinite hiatus, which we're in right now, deader than it's ever been before. It started with popular YouTube neurotic posting a video of his nerd cave, which starts with a door painted like. Is that the same thing as my one? Back there, I think it actually is. We probably got it from the same place. A collection of insight. Fine. So then, this followed Mark Miller chiming in with the bombshell of what could have been with the show. If identity politics had been made central, he posted, "P.S. Every time I see those blue doors, I remember that a huge name genius friend of mine offered himself as showrunner, was suggesting Ben Daniels as the Doctor. Oh, he wasn't offered; he offered himself." I wonder who it could be. Who does Mark Miller know? Right? and they went with their 2018 revamp instead. Not a good idea. Daniels has been considered to be the Doctor in 2013. He was a favorite for the role before Peter Capaldi was eventually chosen. His acting style combines intellectual gravitas, emotional intensity, and a sharp irony, which are traits that naturally align naturally with the Doctor's character. Would have been a great choice. 2018, apparently, a big name in the industry was talking about going in as showrunner instead of Chibnall. They wanted Chibnall because they wanted the female Doctor. I'm sorry. They wanted Daniels to play the character to get cast this time. Daniels classically trained with the Olivia Award-winning stage career, blah, 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 Exodus, The Crown, Foundation. Oh, God, I still haven't finished watching that last season. It's a real chore. And the only reason I'm keeping my Apple Plus subscription is for the new Vince Gillian show. Pluribus, or whatever it's called. He's the guy who did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Quite a reminiscence of the Doctor's unpredictable shifts in plainness and moral fury. The depth would have suited the darker, more introspective tone of Doctor post Matt Smith. I don't know. Unfortunately, what fans got instead was the destruction of the franchise for feminism and blackification and LGBTQ agenda. Thank God it's not me saying it. Leaving Doctor Who in a state where very few even care what's happening with the show anymore. That is true. Right, that is true. Actually, I'll tell you proof of that in a second. What do you think of Ben Daniels? Just well, I don't really know who he is. I think anybody other than Jodie would have been better. But that's just what I think, ladies and gentlemen. That's just what I think. I think it is time to make contact throughout the ecosphere, right? Throughout the sense sphere to what do they call that thing? What was the thing the Varders lived in? It wasn't the sense sphere. It was the media sphere. I don't know. Reach out through the media sphere, out into the through the interwebs to darkest Birmingham. For Birmingham's king of the geeks. How are you doing, sir?
It doesn't get much darker than in Birmingham right now.
No,
Let me tell you.
as you see,
Feeling is closing in, looming down.
Have you
the
seen?
walls.
You're going to need digital ID to buy a pint by the end of the year. They're saying.
They're going to try. They're going to, yeah. I know they've started a cinema chain, a big cinema chain is encouraging people to have it. I haven't seen the stuff about a pint, but yeah, they're going to start embedding it in things. What they're hoping is that people could get sort of just drunk enough that they think, oh well, and then they'll sign up for it, and then it'll be the next morning. It'll be, oh fuck, why did I do that? Yeah, that's who I believe.
I was just going to ask you who you thought was the big name, Grant Morrison. Because I remember a few years ago him talking about having a whole plan for Doctor Who. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's Grant Morrison.
Morrison. So again, that story is not really how they presented it. It wasn't the BBC wanted Ben Daniels and Grant Morrison.
No.
Grant Morrison approached them, and they're like, "No, we want to be woke shit instead."
Yeah, that's the upshot of it. Ben Daniels, that story that has sort of popped up again in the last week or two from Mark Miller, who seems like a really great guy. He does he turns up in all the little comic shops as well. He's he really believes in getting comics out to as many people and children as possible. He's a great guy. But Mark Miller, that's just the latest round of that. Ben Daniels himself talked about it last year because we covered it on Type 40, and he said how how much he loved what Peter Capaldi had done and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so I think he's a bit of a fan. Fantastic actor, Ben Daniels.
Listen, I am hoping there's going to be a massive change in England, right, which may filter through to Doctor Who. And like just as we see America going for somewhat of a civil war, but I think also healing at the same time, right? I hope the same thing's going to happen to England. I really do.
Well, time's running out. I'm sad to say.
Listen, I think maybe this China thing might take down Starmer at last. One can only hope.
I mean, he is down already. He's hanging on for dear life, and all of this sort of shuffling around the globe that he's doing, being photographed with people, with generally pretty impressive and or powerful people. That's not fooling anyone. Back here in Britain,
it's fooling him. By the way. Did you see his face when Trump like really snubbed him?
Back off to the back, little boy.
Yeah, that was. I mean, listen, if I didn't love Trump already, I would have loved him after that.
I'd have liked it. What Trump should have done would have been to turn him around, give him a wedgie, kick him up the arse, and then go, well, like that. That would have been.
Well, when one can only dream, right? One can only dream. It was trying to put. Oh, here it is. Just trying to pull this up.
Exactly.
Because there is actually good news on the Doctor Who horizon. Amazingly, Monday we get season 13.
So I've just seen that picture of Mike Tucker with his hand in the scarus.
Oh, that's Mike Tucker. So I don't know how I feel about their. Look, I got to see the effects, but it just seems to me they should have gone with a CGI Scarrison, right? I don't know. It just seems that way. I was very won over by the Cunning Monkey CGI T-Rex for the Silurians. I thought that really worked well, far better than I thought it would.
I mean, yeah, as you know, Neil Cole's a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, and he's promised to tell me all about this. Now it's out. Now he can.
Right.
So hopefully I'll be able to find out a bit more about it. I mean, I would imagine there'll be quite a lot on the box set himself, but it's brilliant what they've done.
Is this the original model that Neil refurbished?
Neil has refurbished the original one, but I believe they've made a double because the original one wasn't and isn't flexible enough to do the things that they needed it to do.
What? Not look like
the new. I say I don't have the inside story on this, but that's, as I understand it, that's what happened. There is now two Scarrisons. One is the original refurbished one, which Neil spent months on.
Right.
I knew that he'd got it. Let's put it that way. Because
look, listen. If it looks like this, it looks. It's the original one. If it looks like this, it looks gorgeous. I'm sorry. I mean, it really looks for. If he did that, good for him. I what's his name? Last name? Neil what? Is it Neil Gordon?
Cole.
Neil Cole. My mistake. Great to follow on social media. Right, I love the work he does, and he's so British, right? Having a sci-fi museum in your house is such a bonkers British thing to do. Right, I think that's the height of Britishness.
He's an absolute diamond. He really is.
He is, and he makes these little dioramas for things he doesn't have props from, which I also think are very cool. Yeah. Anyway, I want to go through what's on these discs. So we got the audio commentary with Robert Banks Stewart, George Gallico. Who's George Gallico? Oh, this is from the original one. So Philip Hinchcliffe, Silver James, Dick Mills, and moderator Ed Marquez. That's an interesting choice. Scotch Mrs. Sussex, making a documentary. I remember that wasn't bad. This was the last DVD to come out in the range, which made me think this was going to be a season 13 would be the last one they would release, or at least the last color one. Part 1 deleted scene. Have you seen that?
The Part 1 deleted scene for Terror of the Zygons, is it?
Yeah. It's basically just walking around in the forest, I think, as I recall.
That's right. The TARDIS lands, doesn't it? And they get out and sort of shuffle around in the undergrowth for 30 seconons.
Yeah, that's sweet. It. Yeah. It doesn't really, add much to it.
Personally, as a child, I love those little scenes. But it doesn't do anything.
It felt like what's the one you've done a show about it. Image of Fendor was like 60% those scenes, even though it wasn't. It just feels there was like a lot of them.
Well, yeah.
I still haven't seen your. I decided not to actually. I was going to watch your show on not Face of Evil, Planet of Evil. But I said no. I'm going to watch this. Should I watch it? No. Should I watch your show on it before I watch it or after I watch it? That's the question.
There you go. I'd probably watch it afterwards.
Fine. So I'm holding that in reserve. So Tom Baker interviewed for Doctor Who Stories from 2003. Was it the story of Doctor Who? That was excellent. Douglas Camfield, remembering Douglas Camfield, that was really good. And Unit Family Part 3. Look, the DVD rate did a bunch of like recurring things, most of which I enjoyed. Do you remember the Strip for Action thing they did? They should really release that. I often, when I'm like, got 10, 20 minutes I got to spare, I will go for that when I'm looking for something to watch. I really enjoyed those Strip for Action little.
I have picked those out too on their own merits. Yeah.
Yeah, they're excellent. Merry-Go-Round, The Fuel Fishers, school program presented by Elizabeth Sladen. I kind of remember Merry-Go-Round. Is that before your time?
Yeah, slightly. I remember her hosting a show called Stepping Stones, which I think was on ITV. But I
that was several years later. Okay, so the new feature, we got a audio comedy with Tom Baker, moderated by Toby Adoki. He's not in the original commentary. Okay, that's good for them. Optional replacement effects on parts 2 and 4. What about part 1 and 3? What happened there? I'm trying what were the ropey effects in part 2? Because the only really bad effect I remember was the Scarison.
I would imagine that they've concentrated their efforts on those scenes.
Right. I always prefer the new effects, which I understand. Not everybody agrees. It's huge. Recreating the Scarison. That is one of the first things I watch. Right. That sort of thing I love.
Yeah.
What else we got? Behind the Sofa. Well, Disney Time from 75. I remember that as well. Blimey. I was young.
That's 4. The one we constantly see clips and pictures from, isn't it? That Disney
right
Time.
Right. I probably remember it from that. BBC News announcement of the death of William Hartnell from April 24, 1975. Behind the Sofa, all sorts feature Sophie Aldred, Colin Baker, Janet Fielding, Toby Adoki, Katie Manning, Sadie Miller, Maureen O'Brien, Sarah Sutton. That's a weird combination. And there's is there only 2 blokes? You have Colin Baker. Okay, so it'll probably be Colin Baker, and who do you think will be with him?
Fraser Hines, maybe.
Is Fraser? No, Fraser Hines not there. It's I think Maureen O'Brien, Sadie Miller will be with Toby Adoki, and maybe Katie Manning. Maureen O'Brien, Sadie Miller, and Katie Manning. I guess we'll find out next week. Trails of Continuities, which I always kind of enjoy. Like what I do when I get any of these sets, I rip everything to my hard drive, right? And one of the things I always rip is the Trails and Continuity. I always enjoy those. Never look at the subtitles, but when I do, I go, wow, that's a lot of work went into those. And you got the 1977 annual as a PDF. Wow, amongst the PDFs. Season 13 Unmade Stories. What season 13 Unmade Stories were there?
I've got no idea. You forget over the years, though. I mean, at one time, the list of unmade Doctor Who stories, you could remember them all because they'd have you believe there's only about 6. It turns out there's about 36. So I can't remember.
I never bothered getting that last one from Big Finish, an accident, because I just got so much of this stuff. I am thinking of really ditching Big Finish. There's not really much coming out, but I do like what's going on at Audible. I want Audible to buy Big Finish. So this one seems a bit light on features. So if the original is a commentary with Prentice Hancock. I forgot he's in this. Yeah. Philip Hinchcliffe, Liz Sladen, Tom Baker. Come back here. A Darker Side, who were. Making a documentary. Planetary Performance, another documentary. And Philip Hinchcliffe, Easter egg. And studio footage I never bother ripping. Like it's just boring. I don't get it.
I can't watch more than 3 or 4 minutes of that without getting crushingly bored.
Return to 13. So I guess that's a documentary about the whole season. I would like to think. We're not talking about.
I'd say so. Yeah. Oh God, no, not another return. The last thing we want.
Yeah. We don't want that return ever.
I mean, could you imagine Could you imagine that anybody could possibly have made the reality war worse in the last 5 minutes, but Jodie Whittaker managed it?
I tell you, it's a neat trick. Yeah. You want to know how dead Doctor Who is right now? How on its arse it is? Normally, you can pirate. You get pirate copies of Big Finish's output within weeks at most of the release, right?
Oh, okay.
Like here, there's a site called Easy News, which is you can get everything there, right? Until last month, right? Because I wasn't going to get. I said I'm not going to get the Tom Baker set until I listened to it because I've been burnt too many times, and the missing story. But I was open to getting them, but I wanted to hear them first, right? So I was just going to illegally download them. No one's posting them anymore, right? That is like when you're not even piratable, your franchise is on its ass. That's really bad news for them.
Well, yeah, I'm not really sure what that sort of market is now. I mean, 20 odd years ago, what was it called? Not was it called Owl or something like that? There was a like for sharing music and things like that.
Oh, no, you're thinking of not Napster.
Napster. I remember all that stuff, but it's not something that I.
Okay, so your ultimate internet security and Usenet solution. Don't bother that security. If you want to basically get pretty much anything Big Finish put out, go to this site, Easy News, and you'll be able to find it. Okay.
I put my fingers in my ears, pretend I didn't see that. Go on. What were you saying? Sorry.
I said, but you should buy all your own media.
Yes.
Again, it's not in my default position. They've just burnt me so many freaking times, right? Even though people say the last Tom Baker set wasn't bad, I remember this as well. Dr. Ware. This is one where he put like the paper plates out to a boundary or something. Anyway, so we got Philip Hinchcliffe, audio commentary, Paddy Russell, Michael Sheard, and Elizabeth. I bet Michael Sheard. Bet he's interesting. Elizabeth Sladen. A Siren Gothic making of Now and Then was great. Okay, did you ever seen that on the original on the DVD?
These are the ones where they go back to the location, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I love those.
So it's really fascinating. Especially in the where they had the pyramid rocket, the Siren rocket was going to take off from. Right, because they use the correct lens to make it look like huge, right? Huge. Simpson mentions here. Hello. Hello. All silent. No. We're all talking, mate. We're all talking. Anyway, they use a special lens and they use a normal lens in the making of, and you saw how it's like the size of your living room. That courtyard. It's tiny. It's that really blows my mind. Anyway. So it's worth watching for that. Deleted scenes extended. So the new stuff is optional replacement effects. So I guess that's from the Shooty one. As long as I don't get Shooty Gat, we're talking about cultural fucking appropriation. I'm okay with it.
What a little dipshitty.
Oh, God. I'm so glad that he's contractually prohibited from ever thinking about playing Doctor Who again. I'm so glad I will never see him in the role again. What about this? Elizabeth Sladen remembers and Michael Sheard remembers. Michael Sheard's dead, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, he's been dead for a long time now. 20 years.
I have no idea what that is. Maths show, Dr. Ware. Yeah, okay. So I remember this as a kid, and I was sick home from school watching it, and it was like you had this like faux brigadier and faux doctor, and they're trying to work out the boundaries, and they use a bunch of paper plates. Right, it's genuinely it's really weird, right?
I have never heard of this. It sounds great though.
Well, they got a few more episodes of it. Wogel's World with Liz Sladen. I guess it's audio. Upgraded production titles. I'm sure they're good. So another one, we got the Omnibus, originally broadcast on 76. Tells the Titans, boo, hiss, leave me alone. Tom Talks documentary with Tom Baker. Put up an archive. Okay, now they're doing well. We got Nicholas Courtney, Caroline John, and Liz Sladen on a panel. And the season 13 trailer. It's been very noticeable the budget on these have been cut back in the last few sets. Especially the season 7 set. Right? It's very noticeable they're having you don't get the lavish trailer anymore. And the originally said, it's because we're putting stuff into making the set good. Like they said that was season 25. Right? And then the next one was season 7 where they had really nothing they added in at all. Android Invasion. Okay, Android Invasion is good because it's got a very good cliffhanger on for episode 1, which totally fails when you know it's coming. Right? Because you can so see them change the Liz Sladen for a dummy. Right?
I'm a big fan of this story. I think it's great. I prefer this to several of the stories in the season.
I prefer it to Planet of Evil. I like the Kralls as well. I thought they were great sculpts, right? Great invention.
Yeah,
great
typical Doctor Who monster. Lots of fun.
Who wrote this? Do you remember?
The story.
Yeah, I can't remember now. It's not Robert Holmes, is it? It's one of those type of. I can't remember. I could just look it up, really. So the audio company's got nobody regular. Philip Hinchcliffe, Martin Friend, Milton Jones. Oh, Milton Jones I like. Marion McDougall, moderated by Toby Adoki. Making of Village That Came to Life, directing. Oh, this was very good. Directing Who with Barry Letts documentary originally included in Planet Spiders. Yeah, that's a really sort. Maybe did he direct or write this one? Maybe. Oh, I'm just gonna look at that. 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, I think was he did direct it. I think.
It is.
Otherwise, he wouldn't be there, wouldn't he?
Written by Terry Nason. There you go. And directed by Barry Letts. So that's a pretty good pedigree right there. Weetabix advert. Oh boy, I've never seen that. I must have seen it. It's on the DVD. I don't remember seeing that. Okay, and more Barry Letts on remembering the demon. Remembering Barry Letts on that came from the Demons DVD. New audio company with Tom Baker. The Worlds Within the Life of Ian Martner. Ooh. Oh, that'd be interesting. That will be interesting, right? I really don't know much about him. It's supposed to be this lovely guy, though.
Yeah, I've spoken to people who knew him, met him. And Anthony Weiner, he met him a couple of times.
Anthony Weiner is the Anthony that's on your Monday show, right?
That's right, yeah.
There you go. I do like Anthony on that show. The Generation game, excellent. Oh, I want that. That's good. I'll buy a Blu-ray of that.
When Brucey was still doing it.
Is it Brucey or it's not Liz? Who took over? Not Liz Dawson.
Larry Grayson.
Larry Grayson, right? Weirdly played by Mark Gatiss in that was it Dolly thing?
Yeah, horrendously miscast.
I thought I looked at it and went, that's really not how I remember Larry Grayson, but maybe I'm wrong.
There's nothing like that.
Pete Murray's open house extra from the BBC Two radio, updated, blah 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 blah. Camera scripts, never gonna look at any of this. The Weetabix promotion stuff is wonderful. That stuff I like. You can get like the son of the artist who did all that you can get merch with the
I've seen. He used to be pimping that across Facebook 7 days a week. Everywhere you went, it got a bit much, to tell you the truth.
Well,
I love that artwork.
It was certainly hard to miss. So I think this is probably my favorite story yesterday. Have a quick 1 second. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is my favorite story thus far. I prefer it to Pyramids of Mars. Brain of Morbius. I do like the bit where he accidentally drops a Morbius brain on the ground. And he's like, sorry, Morbius. And it was clearly a flop.
You prefer Brain of Morbius to Pyramids of Mars?
I do. Actually, wow. I do. Because I've always thought the way the mummies kill people was just kind of a bit goofy and lame. We're going to just walk to you. And
yeah, but you can't really hold up the Brain of Morbius as an example of less goofiness. The fish.
No, because I really like this. I really like the whole lore with it. It was very subtle. The Sisterhood of Khan stuff they brought in. I like Morbius. I loved what's his name, Philip Maddock. I just really enjoy this story. Right, it's one of those ones I really enjoy.
I get a bit bored with it after. Yeah, it's another one that could have been shorter in my opinion. But there we are.
You're probably right. You're probably right. There will be a Cunning Monkey cut down one of it by this time next year, I think. So there you go. Making a documentary, Philip Maddock, Venom for All Seasons. Yeah, that was pretty good. I remember that. Designs of Khan, sketch gallery, virtual set tour. That's interesting. A letter to Robert Holmes, Easter egg on the. I wonder what that is. All right. Seeds of Doom. Okay, the new special features are. Excuse me. The Omnibus repeat from '76. I wish we had more of those. Behind the Sofa, and not much. I think they covered it pretty well on the original DVD. And then the set finishes with season. Oh, we get a what's the name? What's he called again? Matthew Sweet interview, which are always freaking excellent, right? They're always excellent. Well, so Caesar Doom, right? Caesar. Once I first read that Robert Stewart Banks was more of an Avengers writer, this story made so much more sense to me. Right, it really felt like it was from the Avengers template.
Straight out of the Avengers playbook.
Yeah. By the way, you've got me gagging at the bit for that Avengers, new Avengers Blu-ray. 4K.
I've got to get the 4K one. I think I'm gonna go all in on that. I think if I've been waiting for something to be released, I think if I've been waiting for something to be released for over a decade, I should really put my money where my mouth is, get behind the release, and go all in.
So I downloaded the pilot episode, which I was surprised it doesn't have the titles in it. They have a different titles in the pilot episode.
That's right, yeah.
But holy crap, does Joanna Lumley look fantastic in that?
Eagle's Nest.
Yes, that's the one. She just looks fantastic in that. It blew my mind. So the company's got Tom Baker, Robert Banks Stewart, Jogs Campfield, I guess that's his wife. John Chalice is in it. Oh, right. Yes. Kenneth Gilbert, Philip Hinchcliffe, Michael McStay, and Roger Murray Leach. Okay. Roger Murray Leach is always interesting to be interviewed. Podshop, making of, playing in the Green Cathedral, documentary with Jeffrey. I thought it was going to say Jeffrey Belden. I'm like, what's that got to do with everything? Okay, fine. So, what do you do exactly? A documentary with Graham Harper. Now and then, outtakes from part 5. John Chalice anecdote. That's an Easter egg. I remember that's actually good. I can't remember what it is, but I remember it's actually good. Coming soon, the Mask of Mandragora. So the new thing is Ken Dodd's Seaside Special, excerpt from 75, I guess, 76. Well, this is just after the series finished. Crackerjack!
That's going to be
from
fun.
the episode from 75 featuring Space Odyssey. Another Crackerjack. Crackerjack! I can't say it without saying that. Crackerjack! Now I want to drop. What was it? What was the fruit, the vegetable they had?
Cabbage.
Cabbage. Yeah. Now I want to drop a cabbage to get in the mood. More Crackerjack. Behind the Sofa. I like Behind the Sofa. And the collection trailer. Season. Oh, that was the next one. What was the season 14 trailer? It was. I can't remember. I remember it being quite good though.
Okay.
Oh, and then we got another Disney omnibus version. Graham Harper in conversation with Matthew Sweet. That's probably worth it right there. Bit of I'm going to teach you a Jewish word. It's called shvach. Bit of a shvach.
Shvach.
No. You got that Gentile throat going. Shvach. Shvach.
Shvach.
Imagine this man spelled SHVACHH.
Shvach.
There you go. No more. Shvach. Which means somewhat lacking. It's got Michael E. Bryant, Toby Adoki, and Matthew Waterhouse. I mean, they could have got what's the name in instead? Liz Sladen's daughter. Merry-Go-Round the Odyssey. Excerpt from the program broadcasting. Okay. Featuring family watching Terror of the Zygons. Well, I've already paid for it. Let's be frank. This is one that. This is a story I feel doesn't need new. One of the food stories I will say does not need new effects. The 1975-76 effects are spot on with this, right? It really, really works. What's this? Along with Inferno, I think my favorite of the omnibus version we created. Oh, he's created the omnibus version? Hang on. I didn't realize that.
He did the Happiness Patrol.
Oh, the Happiness Patrol was stunning. Happiness Patrol, even better. Well, no, it wasn't better. But no, it was because it improved it so much. Was Silver Nemesis. Silver Nemesis went from being unwatchable shite to actually being quite a good little story.
Pete makes a better job of other people's stories than he does of his own.
He certainly does. He certainly does. He should. No, what he needs is a good producer to be on top of him and who will tell him, "No, Pete, that's a stupid idea. Don't do that. Don't do that." Right? Don't lecture the your handsome right-wing internet guy, which is just a bad idea.
I don't know what it is about Doctor Who that brings that out in him, because the series he did Wentworth is not like that.
Well, what year was he who was doing Wentworth?
From about 2011 through till about 2020, 2021.
It didn't go work for the last few years?
No.
Oh, Problem Bean's here. Oi, oi, oi. How you doing, Problem Bean? Probs, mate, you should watch my stream from... I'm going to put it out as a video. My stream from Tuesday. I'm putting it out as a separate video tomorrow. I want to talk about the end of the war in Gaza. You would like that. What we're going to say. And James is here. James says, no runs behind the sofa like it was scary. I found it odd, wonky, and different, but scary. Well, at the time it was scary. Like at the
loads of kids. You're in the minority, my friend, whoever you are. Loads of kids were scared shitless by Doctor Who and did hide behind the sofa. It absolutely was a thing. And the majority of children did it, including me.
Yeah, I know. I used to love it. I used to love Doctor. Anyway, so that is the coming out on Monday, I believe. It's 4 days from now. Yeah, that's Monday, right?
Yeah, some people have got them now. I think they've started turning up in the post in various places.
Oh, really? Well, I was thinking a bit. Let me check my Amazon, see if it's been shipped as yet. 1 second. It's still in the... No, I haven't been charged for it, so it can't have been shipped. There was it. Has it been shipped? Shopping basket. Oh, I haven't checked out on it yet. Blimey. Hang on. Let me just do this now before I forget.
So just say hello to Lee if he's in the live chat. Hello, mate. Good to see you.
Oh man, actually, I'm not sure I got money in that account. Well, I'll work it out tomorrow. No problem. Anyway, I think, for me, it's a win, right? To me, it's a something I'm going to buy.
Everybody wins, as I'm fond of saying. Everybody wins.
Everybody lives. Anything going on your channel tonight, my good sir?
Is there something going on my channel? It's a Thursday. Of course there's something going on my channel. In fact, I'll show you exactly what's going on my channel. It's right. We're keeping it clean-ish, at least until 9, when we go balls deep in on the subject, the big subject in the universe. So we're all getting together for a big catch-up because we're back from our mid-season break. We've been off for a couple of weeks, and there's lots to catch up on, including the big story, Type 40 Live and Fabulous from 8 p.m. over at the Type 40 channel, YouTube and Rumble.
The big story is there are missing episodes that out there somewhere, right? We don't know what they are. I covered this the other day, right? It's they're basically, what was it? They have to catalog the whole collection or something like that, and they're in the middle of making deals with people, so they can't announce anything yet. But there's an announcement coming, I think, by Christmas.
Yeah, the principle is that as a charitable trust, they make moves to families or the estates of people to obtain entire collections of film. To preserve and to value and to, and then they will find homes for it for each film, either with a rights holder or with an institution who may use the material for preservation or in some sort of educational capacity. So it's fascinating the work they do, and we'll be talking about that a little on the show as well.
So when you say they preserve them, do they transfer them to a digital format? Is that or they clean them? What they do?
In some instances, I mean, if you haven't heard the long form conversation they had with Tim Beddoes, I strongly recommend, because it's quite involved. You can see why it's taken them so long. I mean, on Type 40, we've been following the work of Film is Fabulous since they started. And I've been mentioning them here and there, and no one seemed to care. But all of a sudden, everybody cares now this last week or so. So, we've talked about it a few times. We did a dedicated thing about it around a year ago. So, now, obviously, they've arrived big time. It seems now that there's possibilities, and we'll be talking about it at length later.
What is this a spoiler for your show? Or are you what stories do you think they got?
I don't know.
Actually, when I went over the article, he was saying he thinks they're going to get everything at some point.
Well, you know, this is the same situation that we're always in with regards to Doctor Who. You know, that you think, well, the possibilities for such a thing are as wide as there are potential collectors of such material in the country, and maybe even in other countries as well. At the moment, I think it's just a UK initiative, but I don't think there's anything that precludes them from. I don't know, but I think because it's UK charity, maybe for now. But I would imagine that there are a lot of collectors out there.
Yeah, I mean, and they're all basically dying. That's why we're getting hold of them now, because
I'm afraid so. Yeah,
they're dying, and they're like, you know, they're not hoarding them quite as much.
So it's something that's being embarked upon with an enormous amount of sensitivity.
Right. Now, again, I wish I could remember the details, but it seems to be something like adult and normal. But I think that maybe this will, you know, plug this wilderness years, getting a bunch of classic stuff back. What would be your favorite story to be returned?
Well, we'll be talking about that later on my show, so come
fine. I do not want to what's this? Still you'll find out. Mine would be the Macra Terror. Macra Terror followed by Dalek Master Plan. They're the two I really like. The Macra Terror. It's one of my all-time favorite stories, and I've never seen it.
No, I know exactly what you mean. You see images from these episodes, and you think, oh well, what could it be like? How will it feel? Because they're always different when you watch them when things like that are returned. But it wasn't feasible for us to all sort of hang on hoping. And I certainly don't hold with the idea. It's clear to me that when you look into this, that I mean, there may be one or two people out there, but for the most part, the people who have got this material, and most material kind of worked in the industry, either in television or in a studio in some capacity or another, and they just obtain film reels. Now, I know people like this, people connected with sort of model railways and things like that, and they'll just buy anything really, whether they need it or not. And a lot of the time, they don't go into the boxes that they buy. It's just like, yeah, there's a lot of curious characters in Britain. There's still that kind of there's still a generation of people and pockets of them, I suppose, who behave kind of like Wallace does in Wallace and Gromit. You know, they've got the corrugated iron shed.
Well, I think Neil Cole's a good example.
Prime example. You know, Neil, obviously, I mean, there are probably things that Neil's got in his outhouse, which to enthusiasts of, I don't know, steam trains or something, would be the equivalent of missing episodes of Doctor Who to us. But because he's more into props and models and things like that, that's the stuff that he lands on. And I think it's just the same inversely too. You know, people haven't deliberately squirreled this stuff away because it's Doctor Who. It's the format, it's the medium of film that they're enthusiastic about, and the art of projecting it. I used to know a guy, he sadly passed away a couple of years ago, and he didn't have a collection, but how he would scratch that itch was he joined a film society, and together they would, all these old boys would rent a church hall or something like that and project things. You know,
people do like their like, look at Chris, the Bowles track. I have a polar different opposite view of physical media to him, right? He has a whole ritual. He likes taking the disc out and putting it in. All that bits of work. He loves that though.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as Chris. Exactly the same.
Right. Anyway, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to head off into sunset. You are on in just 56 of your Earth minutes, so you have to prepare and gird your loins and all the other stuff you need to do.
That's
Robert, hey, Robert. Sorry, we're going now.
Going to spruce myself up, get ready to meet up with the others there when they materialise. 8 p.m. YouTube and Rumble. This one's been a long time coming. We've got other things to chat about as well. It's going to be a laugh. So I'll see you there from 8. Shake it all loose.
Okay.
Rock out with your dock out, as I say.
Right. But don't hear Keir Starmer telling you, find out you're doing that. He'll have you in
Oh no,
prison
you get the knock at the door from.
Yeah, you will for a
soldiers.
non-crime plea. Was it hate incident? I can't imagine what it must be like to get those. Like, you know, would it be a criminal hate incident to tell them to fuck off? I think it probably would. Anyway,
people are getting the knock at the door now for stuff they said 3 or 4 years ago on Twitter.
Crazy.
So we knocked your door at 3 o'clock in the morning saying you posted this in 2019. Think, fuck off.
It's designed to intimidate and scare people, which means they're absolutely terrified, which means hopefully it's going to end soon. Fine. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hit the end broadcast button. Wish I could do it on this government, but I'll do it on me instead. Hit the end broadcast button. I'm going to hit it again. Say good night, good luck, and may